There's something magical about the ocean at dawn. Before the world fully awakens, the water stretches out like a sheet of polished glass, mirroring the soft hues of the sky. The only sounds are the rhythmic splash of a paddle dipping into the sea and the distant cries of gulls riding the early breeze. For Alex Carter, an experienced kayaker and lover of the open water, these quiet mornings were a ritual, a way to disconnect from the chaos of daily life and find solace in the gentle embrace of the tide. Alone in the vastness, surrounded by nothing but the infinite blue, Alex felt free. This morning was no different, at least at first. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of salt and adventure. Alex had launched from a secluded cove just before sunrise, drifting lazily over the undulating waves. The sun, now peeking over the horizon, cast shimmering gold across the ocean surface. It was perfect, but then something shifted. It started as a ripple, subtle yet deliberate, breaking the water's smooth reflection. Alex slowed the paddling, scanning the area. At first, nothing seemed out of place. But then, just beyond the kayak, a small head bobbed above the surface. Too dark. Round eyes locked onto Alex, unblinking. A baby seal. It was tiny, barely more than a pup, with sleek gray fur glistening with seawater. At first, Alex chuckled at the sight. It wasn't uncommon for seals to be curious about humans. They sometimes followed boats out of curiosity before losing interest. But as Alex resumed paddling, the seal did something unexpected. It followed, not just for a moment, not just playfully dipping in and out of sight. It stayed close, too close, shadowing every movement like a loyal companion. Alex furrowed a brow. Something about his behavior felt off. Young seals didn't usually stray this far from their pods, and certainly not without their mothers nearby. Was it lost? Injured? Whatever the reason, one thing was clear. The baby seal wasn't leaving. And for reasons Alex couldn't yet explain, an uneasy feeling settled in, a whisper of instinct that this wasn't just another morning on the water. This was something else. Something that would change everything. At first, Alex found the little seal's persistence amusing. It swam just off the kayak's stern, cutting to the water effortlessly, its tiny nose barely breaking the surface. Every few seconds, it would lift its head, those dark eyes locked onto Alex with an almost pleading expression. "You're a brave little thing, aren't you?" Alex murmured, paddling forward at a leisurely pace. The seal didn't respond, of course, but it didn't leave either. If anything, it seemed determined to stay as close as possible. When Alex stopped paddling, the seal floated in place. When the kayak moved, it followed, its small flippers propelling it with surprising speed. Alex glanced around. No sign of other seals. No sign of its mother. That was strange. Seals, even young ones, rarely ventured out alone. They stuck close to their pods, especially at this age. If a pup was left alone for too long, it meant something had gone terribly wrong. A pang of concern settled in Alex's chest. "Are you lost?" The question was absurd, but speaking aloud helped organize the swirling thoughts. The seal made a soft chirping noise, tilting its head. It almost looked like it understood. Alex had encountered seals before, playful, mischievous, curious. But this was different. There was something urgent in the way this pup clung to the kayak, something that didn't sit right. Testing a theory, Alex changed direction, steering toward the open sea. The seal hesitated, just for a moment. Then, as if panicked by the movement, it darted forward, frantically swimming ahead to cut Alex off. That stopped Alex cold. That wasn't curiosity. That wasn't playfulness. That was desperation. Alex's fingers tightened around the paddle. The morning, once calm and peaceful, now felt slightly off balance, like an orchestra where one note had gone horribly out of tune. The sun still gleamed over the water. The gulls still cried overhead. But an uneasy weight settled in Alex's gut. Something had scared the seal. Something had driven it away from wherever it was supposed to be, and it wanted Alex to follow. That thought sent a chill through Alex's spine. Taking a steadying breath, Alex turned the kayak, not toward the open sea, but back toward shore. If this little one needed help, then that's exactly what would get. Alex paddled toward the shore, expecting the little seal to follow at its usual pace. Instead, it surged forward, almost as if relieved by the change in direction. That was the moment Alex knew, beyond any doubt, that something was wrong. The seal wasn't just following out of curiosity. It had been trying to steer Alex away from the open ocean. A sense of unease crept in. The water was calm, the sky clear. There was no immediate sign of danger. But the seal's erratic behavior told a different story. "What's out there, little one?" Alex muttered, glancing back over one shoulder. The vast, endless sea stretched behind them, glittering under the morning sun. Nothing looked unusual. No boats. No dark shapes beneath the surface. Just an expanse of blue that had, only minutes ago, felt peaceful, but now seemed impossibly vast. Alex shook the thought away and focused on paddling. The seal stayed close, nudging the kayak every so often as if encouraging more speed. That's when Alex heard it. A deep, distant sound, so low it was almost imperceptible. A vibration more than a noise, like something massive shifting beneath the waves. It lasted only a second, but it made Alex's skin prickle with instinctual fear. It wasn't the rumble of a boat engine. It wasn't the distant crash of waves against rocks. It was something else. Alex's pace quickened. The shoreline was still a fair distance away, but the familiar landmarks, the craggy cliffs, the tiny strip of beach, were getting closer. Almost there. But then the baby seal let out a sharp, frantic chirp. Alex turned just in time to see it dive beneath the water. A moment later, it resurfaced and did something Alex hadn't expected. It tried to climb onto the kayak. Seals weren't typically afraid of water. They spent their lives in it, darting through the currents with ease. But this pup was scrambling, its tiny flippers slapping against the side of the kayak as if it wanted to escape the ocean entirely. That single, desperate act sent a bolt of cold fear through Alex's chest. Without thinking, Alex reached down, gently helping the panicked creature onto the front of the kayak. The seal trembled, its small body shivering despite the sun's warmth. Alex didn't look back, didn't dare. Instead, gripping the paddle tightly, Alex pushed forward, every stroke now fueled by a singular instinct. Get to shore, and don't look back. The shore felt agonizingly far away. Every stroke of the paddle sent ripples across the surface, but Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something was moving beneath them. Something unseen, something waiting. The baby seal huddled near the front of the kayak, its slick body trembling. It wasn't just tired. It was terrified. Alex had spent years on the water and had seen wildlife in distress before. Seals tangled in fishing lines, dolphins stranded in shallow waters. There was always a logical explanation. But this was different. Something had chased this little one away from its home. Something had made it desperate enough to climb onto a human's kayak. And that deep, unearthly sound Alex had heard earlier, it played on a loop in the back of the mind, an unanswered question growing heavier by the second. A shadow flickered beneath the surface. Alex froze. It was brief, just a distortion in the deep, a shift in the water that shouldn't have been there. But it was enough. Panic surged, but Alex forced it down. Stay calm. Keep moving. The coastline was getting closer now, the jagged rocks near the beach coming into sharper focus. A few people strolled along the sand in the distance, oblivious to the growing fear gripping Alex's chest. The seal let out another chirp, this one softer, almost exhausted. "We're almost there, buddy," Alex murmured, more to keep calm than to reassure the seal. With renewed urgency, Alex paddled harder. The kayak sliced through the water, and for the first time since the strange encounter began, hope flickered. Then, the water behind them swelled. It wasn't a wave. It wasn't the current. It was something moving, something large enough to displace the ocean itself. Alex didn't turn around. Didn't want to. Every instinct screamed that looking back would be a mistake. Instead, Alex focused on the shore, so close now that individual rocks and driftwood could be seen scattered along the sand. A few more strokes. Just a few more. The moment the kayak scraped against the shallows, Alex didn't hesitate. Clutching the baby seal, legs unsteady from adrenaline, Alex leapt into the knee-deep water and waded toward land. The seal clung to Alex's arm for a second before wriggling free, flopping onto the wet sand. It looked back toward the ocean, its tiny chest rising and falling with quick, panicked breaths. Alex followed its gaze. The water behind them was calm again. No movement, no sound, but something was out there, and it wasn't finished yet. The moment Alex's feet hit solid ground, a wave of relief washed over, brief, fleeting, and immediately overshadowed by a deep, gnawing unease. The baby seal, still trembling, huddled on the sand beside the kayak, its eyes fixed on the ocean. Alex turned slowly, heart hammering. The water was eerily still. Too still. Moments ago, something had been there. Something large enough to shift the sea itself, to send this tiny creature fleeing for its life. But now, it was as if the ocean had swallowed every trace of it. The waves lapped at the shore, indifferent and lazy, as though nothing had ever disturbed them. But Alex knew better. A few early morning beachgoers meandered along the sand, oblivious to the unseen tension gripping the air. An older couple walked hand in hand near the rocky cliffs, their laughter light and unbothered. A jogger, headphones in, passed without so much as a glance toward Alex or the trembling pup. No one had noticed anything. Alex took a shaky breath, then reached for the radio clipped to the kayak. A few miles down the coast, the harbor patrol would be on duty by now. If something, whatever it was lurking offshore, they needed to know. Static crackled as Alex pressed a button. This is Alex Carter, North Cove. I think there's... A sudden, piercing noise cut through the air. Not from the radio. Not from the waves. From the ocean itself. It was low at first, a deep resonance that sent vibrations through the sand, through Alex's bones. Then it rose, a churning guttural frequency that made every hair on the back of Alex's neck stand on end. The baby seal let out a distressed chirp and flopped backward, pushing itself further up the beach. Alex took a step back too, instinct overriding reason. The sound was wrong. Not mechanical. Not natural. It was something alive. The jogger stopped, pulling out an earbud, looking toward the water with a confused frown. Further down the beach, the couple hesitated mid-step, glancing around as if they had felt it more than heard it. Then silence. The ocean stilled again. No more vibrations. No more unnatural sounds. Alex's breath came fast and shallow. This wasn't just a lost baby seal. This wasn't just an overactive imagination. Something was out there, and it wasn't afraid to make itself known. Alex's fingers trembled around the radio. Whatever had made that sound, it hadn't been a boat, a whale, or anything remotely familiar. It had been something else. Something unknown. Swallowing hard, Alex pressed the radio's button again. This is Alex Carter, North Cove. Aye. Alex hesitated, glancing at the water. The seal beside them whimpered softly. I think there's something in the water. Something big. Static crackled. Then a response. North Cove, say again? The voice on the other end was calm, routine. Someone at the harbor, probably sipping coffee, expecting nothing more than a minor concern. Maybe a capsized boat or a drifting buoy. Alex exhaled, steadying their voice. I was kayaking offshore. A baby seal started following me. Seemed scared, desperate. Then I heard something, felt something, and the water, it moved like something massive was just below the surface. A pause. Then, you said a sound? Describe it. Alex glanced at the seal, then back at the deceptively calm sea. It was deep, vibrational, almost mechanical, but not quite, like something alive. It was... Alex hesitated, feeling the weight of the words before saying them aloud. It wasn't normal. More static, then hushed voices, as if someone else had been pulled into the conversation. That was never a good sign. Finally, the voice returned. Stay put. We're sending a team to check it out. The line cut out. Alex lowered the radio, heart still pounding. The baby seal hadn't moved. Its body pressed against the damp sand as if it knew the water wasn't safe. Alex followed its gaze. The ocean stretched endlessly, the surface smooth as glass. Peaceful, unbothered, lying. Something was down there, and the authorities knew it. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. The baby seal hadn't budged from its spot on the sand, its tiny body curled inward, still trembling. Alex paced near the kayak, eyes locked on the water, waiting for any sign of movement. But the ocean remained eerily still, as if whatever had lurked beneath had vanished into the abyss. Then a distant hum broke the silence. Alex turned, spotting a patrol boat cutting through the water toward the cove. A second, smaller vessel followed close behind, the bright white letters of the Marine Wildlife Protection Unit standing out against the deep blue. They hadn't sent just one team. They had sent two. That fact alone sent a fresh wave of unease through Alex's chest. The first boat slowed as it neared the shore, and a uniformed officer stepped to the bow, lifting a megaphone. "Stay where you are. We're coming in." Alex didn't move, but something about the officer's voice, calm yet clipped, professional but urgent, set off alarms in the back of Alex's mind. This wasn't just a routine check. A smaller inflatable craft detached from the main vessel, zipping toward the shallows. Two officers aboard guided it skillfully, their movements practiced. One of them, a woman in her late 40s with short, graying hair, leapt into the waist-deep water and waded onto the beach. "Alex Carter?" she asked, voice firm but not unkind. Alex nodded. "Yeah, that's me. I'm Officer Dana Ruiz, Marine Wildlife Protection." She gestured to the baby seal. "Is this the animal that followed you?" "Yeah," Alex said. "It wouldn't leave my kayak." And then Alex hesitated, glancing at the ocean. There was a sound. Something big was out there. Ruiz exchanged a look with her partner, a younger officer still standing in the inflatable craft. "Can you describe the sound?" Alex repeated what they had told the Harbor Patrol earlier. The low, vibrating resonance, the unnatural way the water had shifted, the sheer wrongness of it. Ruiz listened without interrupting, her expression unreadable. But when Alex finished, she crouched down near the seal and ran a gentle hand over its back. The little creature didn't resist. "This pup's malnourished," she murmured, more to herself than to Alex. "It's been away from its pod for a while." Alex frowned. "So it was lost?" Ruiz stood, brushing sand from her hands. Maybe it was running from something." Alex's stomach tightened. "You know something, don't you?" Ruiz didn't answer right away. Instead, she turned back toward the patrol boat and raised a hand in signal. The second vessel, the one marked with Marine Wildlife Protection, had already started scanning the water, officers peering over the edge with high-powered binoculars. Alex followed her gaze. Nothing, just open water. But if the authorities had sent two boats, if they were scanning this aggressively, it meant only one thing. They had seen this before. The tension in the air thickened as Officer Ruiz exchanged brief, hushed words with the team on the patrol boat. Alex couldn't hear what they were saying, but the clipped tones and the way their eyes kept flicking toward the water made it clear. They were looking for something specific. Alex swallowed hard. "You've seen this before, haven't you?" Ruiz's gaze lingered on the horizon for a moment before she turned back. "Not exactly, but we've had incidents." Alex's pulse quickened. "What kind of incidents?" Ruiz hesitated, glancing at the baby seal, before answering. "For the past few weeks, we've received multiple reports of distressed marine life. Seals, dolphins, even whales, behaving erratically, stranding themselves, or fleeing from something. The Coast Guard has noted strange sonar readings offshore, but nothing conclusive." Alex's mind reeled. "You're saying animals are running from whatever this is?" Ruiz nodded. "And now you're the first person to actually hear something." The word sent a shiver down Alex's spine. The baby seal's terror, the way the water had moved, the eerie, otherworldly sound. It wasn't an isolated event. This was part of something bigger. Ruiz's radio crackled. "Captain, we're getting unusual readings. Deep water disturbances about half a mile offshore." Alex's breath caught. Ruiz lifted the radio. "Size." A pause. Then, large, moving erratically. "It's not a known vessel. Asterisk." Silence settled over the beach. The baby seal let out a soft, whimpering chirp, pressing its body further into the sand as if trying to disappear. Alex clenched their fists. "What the hell is out there?" Ruiz exhaled slowly, eyes dark with something Alex couldn't quite place. Concern, maybe even fear. That's what we're trying to find out. A gust of wind rolled in from the ocean, carrying the scent of salt and something else. Something faint but wrong. A metallic tang lingered in the air, barely noticeable but unsettling. Ruiz straightened. We need to run deeper scans. And I suggest you stay off the water until we know more. Alex's mind whirled. Just this morning, everything had felt so normal. Just another day on the ocean. Now, standing on the shore, watching as trained professionals scramble to track something unseen, something unknown, normal felt like a distant memory. And then, from far beyond the cove, out where the sea met the horizon, a shadow moved beneath the water. Something massive, something alive. Alex's breath hitched. The movement was subtle at first, just a faint distortion beneath the water's surface. But as the seconds stretched, the shape became clearer. It wasn't just big, it was impossibly large. A dark mass shifted deep beneath the waves, its outline blurred by the refracting water. But it was unmistakably there. The baby seal whimpered again, curling in on itself as if instinctively knowing it shouldn't be anywhere near the ocean right now. Ruiz must have seen it too, because she grabbed her radio instantly. Eyes on an unidentified submerged object, marked the coordinates, and prepared for a sonar sweep. The team on the boat responded immediately. The second vessel, the one marked Marine Wildlife Protection, adjusted its position, and within seconds a low-frequency pulse rippled through the water. The deep hum of active sonar vibrated through the air, sending chills up Alex's spine. Seconds passed. Then, static crackled through Ruiz's radio. "Captain, we have a problem." Ruiz's grip tightened around the device. "Go ahead." A pause. Then, "It's moving. Fast." Alex's stomach twisted. The water remained deceptively calm, as if the ocean itself was holding its breath. But something was shifting beneath, something powerful enough to evade sonar and move with alarming speed. Ruiz's expression darkened. Direction? Another pause. Then, straight for us. A surge of panic lanced through Alex's chest. "Are you serious? Shouldn't we?" A sudden tremor rippled through the waves, and for a fraction of a second, Alex swore they saw it. A sleek, inky black shape, longer than a school bus, cutting through the depths like a ghost. It moved unnaturally, shifting in ways no marine creature should. Then silence. Ruiz barked orders into radio. "All units, maintain distance. Do not engage. We don't know what we're dealing with." The team on the boat scrambled to reposition, engines rumbling low as they backed away from the disturbance. The second patrol boat launched a secondary sonar pulse, but this time there was nothing. The thing had vanished. Alex exhaled shakily, heart hammering. What the hell was that? Ruiz didn't answer right away. Her gaze remained locked on the water, her jaw tense. Finally, she muttered, "That's what we need to find out." A new fear settled deep in Alex's bones. Whatever was out there, it wasn't just hiding, it was watching. The ocean had fallen into an eerie stillness, as if whatever had been beneath the waves had simply disappeared. But Alex knew better. Ruiz lowered her radio, her face grim. The patrol boat circled the area, scanning, tracking, searching. But nothing surfaced. No ripples. No more unnatural movements. Just the endless stretch of blue, masking whatever secrets lay beneath. The baby seal let out a faint, pitiful chirp. It hadn't moved from its spot on the sand. If anything, it seemed even more terrified than before. Alex swallowed hard. "So that's it? It's just gone." Ruiz didn't answer right away. Instead, she turned toward the horizon, eyes narrowed. Not gone, just waiting. A chill ran through Alex. Ruiz exhaled slowly, then turned back to Alex. "You did the right thing by calling this in. But I need you to listen to me very carefully." Alex stiffened. "Okay." Ruiz's voice was measured, serious. "Until we know what we're dealing with, stay off the water. No kayaking, no boats. Nothing." Alex hesitated. The ocean was home. It had been a source of peace, freedom, everything. But now it felt like something else entirely. Something unknown. Something watching. Ruiz must have seen the hesitation because she softened slightly. We're going to keep monitoring the area. But if you see anything, you call us. No matter what. Alex nodded, but the unease in their chest remained. Ruiz gestured to one of her team members. Let's get the pup to the rehab center. It's safer there. Alex watched as they gently lifted the baby seal, wrapping it in a towel before carrying it to the boat. The little creature didn't struggle. It just watched the ocean, its dark eyes filled with something Alex couldn't quite place, something close to fear. Ruiz gave one last nod before stepping back toward the water. Be careful, Alex. And then she was gone, the boats pulling away, leaving Alex alone on the shore. The waves lapped gently at the sand. Harmless, deceptive, but Alex couldn't shake the feeling that, somewhere out there, beneath the surface, something was still watching. And whatever it was, it wasn't done yet.